yellow string pickers. Run them to the noise. Let's go!
Are you really gonna look at this cute face and not subscribe?
What? This is not a Glarry. Welcome back, you bunch of string picking guys and gals, you to the String Pickers channel. We're so happy you decided to join us today. And if this is your first time here,
like and subscribe, by the way.
I've got to ask the question. I really do. I mean, I have to know. What happened? I mean, really. A customer has brought me this Glarry bass. Says that it needs a setup and a string change. So I was more than happy to oblige. But then when I'm looking at the guitar, I'm like, something isn't right. This is a Glarry. There is absolutely no sharp frets. The action is set to the right height. It does need just a little bit of truss rod adjustment, just the tiniest bit. The saddles, the only thing I'm going to have to do is restring, tune, and intonate. Of course, there's other things that I'm going to do. The frets don't need polished at all. They're nice and smooth. The fretboard is dry, so we're going to address that. And the back of the neck is completely unfinished, so we're going to address that as well. And just go through and look at this guitar. Now, we do need to adjust the pickup height. The pickup height is just a little bit low, so we're going to have to do that. But all in all, I mean, just listen to this thing. This is definitely not what I expected from Glarry. Definitely not. This is a fabulous bass for what it is. I mean, it makes me want to buy one. It does have quite a bit of neck dive. Of course, lighter body, thicker neck, because this neck is like, it is a C-shaped neck and it's thick, but not overly uncomfortable in my hands because I do have big hands. But yeah, man, it's just great. Let's check out the weight on this guitar. I don't know how much it weighs. I'm gonna guess, because I always fail at this. I've had 1 out of 10 shots where I was actually pretty close, but I'm gonna guess probably 7.5 to 8. So let's do the weight. I was wrong again. 7.12 pounds, which is not bad for a bass, especially a bass that is, everything works. Everything works. I don't get it. I really don't get it. You know, I mean, the knobs feel real good. It's just, I don't even know if the tone knob really works. And the tone knob works. So this is going to be a rather easy one to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on a bench and try and get this thing addressed. You know, some of the small issues that it has. I'm going to try maybe to improve the string height by just a little, because we are looking at 2.25 millimeters on the top and 1.7, between 1.75 and 2 on the bottom. And as we come up, it goes up very, very little. So there's no need whatsoever for a neck shim on this. I think that can be took out by taking just a little bit of relief out. There's no string buzz at all. The nut is cut right, because when the customer first brought this to me, the first thing I did was gauge the strings up here, and everything's right. I don't get it.
It looks like he might be a little bit surprised.
Well, yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, look at this thing. You know what? When people think of Glarry, they think of this. Oh, that's a ton of work. I don't want to pay for that guitar. And I get that guitar, I'm going to have to take it to a tech. I'm going to have to pay a big bunch of money to get it fixed and set up and all of these things. And then, you know, I just don't want that guitar. I want one that I can just tune and play, and I'll give an extra little bit for that. Glarry has forever been known as just cheap budget guitars. For people like me, you know, that get one of these, I go through the process like I do with all guitars. I check everything out, fix what needs fixing. But a lot of people don't have that kind of skills. That's the reason why we have this channel. But this one is new. It's not been set up ever. The customer bought this. He played drums most of his life, but he wanted to get into stringed instruments, and he got this one and another off-brand Telly, which had some problems. But this one has none whatsoever. No problems at all with this, other than it just needs a few little minor things, like, you know, oiling the fretboard, conditioning the back of the neck, and put a little protective layer of Howard's feeding wax on there. You know, and just stuff like that. I don't like the bridge, but it seems to be doing well. May have to intonate just a little bit when we get this done, but I mean, come on, guys. This is very surprising to have an instrument that is a Glarry and in decent shape like this, you know? I think the guy may have tuned it up, but I don't believe it's been set up at all. I think it's just showed up this way. So let's get this thing on the bench and get to looking at it and see what we can do about it. But first, coffee. Now we can get started. Okay, guys, let's go ahead. We'll get a few measurements on this thing so you guys know exactly what we're working with here. Now, industry standard for a bass is about the same as a guitar when it comes to the nut height. So at the first fret, it should be 20 thousandths, and it is. Let's go to the second. That's good, and that's good. Across the board is good. Now, I do not have the specifics on this bass. I will put them up on screen when I get the specs on it. I'm not sure about the nut. I want to think that it's plastic. I'm almost willing to bet that it's plastic. And let's look at our neck alignment. Looks great. We're looking at, let's see, where is right there. Let's look at our neck alignment and see where we are at? We're looking at about 6 mil on the top. On the bottom, we're looking at about 6 mil. So neck alignment looks absolutely amazing. So I guess the best thing that we can do right now is we're going to go ahead and get these strings off of here. And these strings, we're going to try and save those for the customer and get these strings back into the pack. And that way, if something ever happens and he decides to, you know, he'll have a spare set without having to buy a spare set. So let's go ahead and get our strings loosened up here. Let's check our tuners. Tuners feel great. Last one's a tiny bit tight, but not too much. Man, I'm telling you, this thing is just, I mean, this bass is just unbelievable. I really don't get it. I don't. I mean, I don't know. What I expected was, I mean, you guys heard the intro jam. You know that this thing is just absolutely unbelievable. It's got a great tone. These pickups sound great. Once we get these strings out of here, we'll get some neck measurements. Now, it does have a thick old neck on it, and that's, you know, that's just part of it. Some people would say, oh, the thick necks are the most comfortable to play. I love those thick necks. And then other people will say, well, I'd rather have a thin neck because it's faster, you know, and all this stuff. Well, you know what? It's preference, people. I say it all the time. I do not like them big old baseball bat necks. They just suck. I don't like them. But you take a neck like this one on a bass, I mean, it's really comfortable to play for me. But somebody with smaller hands might beg to differ. So, like I said, user preference. So let's get these strings out here. And it looks like we have some hybrid slinkies, round wound bass strings, 45 to 105, about standard. Not sure if that's what come on it or not, but we'll just have to see how well these do, if they fit through this or not. Sometimes they drill these holes a little too small for some of the bigger gauge strings. String pickers, I'm just going to tell you, I do not think that all of the Glarry basses are going to be like this. And you know, I mean, he may have just got a one-off fluke that this one was just a great one, and then the other ones are just not all that great. There is a couple of rough spots on that. I just may get some sandpaper and knock that down just a little bit. Okay, that takes care of that. Yeah, see, if you know, in my experience with Glarry anything, I can tell you right now that most of the time Glarry instruments are just not all that they're cracked up to be. And it's not that I'm really talking bad about Glarry instruments. I'm just trying to tell you this is stuff that you want to expect when you get a Glarry instrument. This one is surprising though. Okay, we got a fretboard conditioner on there. So I guess the first thing that I want to do is, so we'll wipe it down. It's still got the plastic on the pick guard. I'm not really going to take that off. I'll leave that up to him to do later on if he chooses to do so. I am just blown away by this bass. I would take this all day long. All day long. I would, if I knew that it was going to show up in this condition, I'd take it all day long. It would not even be a problem for me. This is a really nice, good sounding bass. I don't understand it. I really don't. While we're letting this soak in, let's just go ahead and get some measurements. And our width at the nut is going to be 41.2 millimeters, which will be 1.62 inches in American. And let's see, at the 7th fret, we're looking at 51.4 millimeters. And at the 12th fret, we're looking at 56.7 millimeters. And at the base of the fretboard, we are looking at 62.6 millimeters. Now let's go for depth. At the 1st fret, the neck thickness is going to be 23.6. That's what I was talking about. I like for those numbers, you know, between 20 to 22. This is a little bit thicker. And at the 5th fret, Neck thickness is going to be 24.5 at the 12th fret. We're dealing with 24.8. So let's go for height on the frets. Down here at the bottom, we are looking at 0.9 millimeters. Same here and same here. So they're all within spec on height of each other. There may be, because one of them was a little bit lower, we may have to rock these frets to make sure that they're going to be okay. Yeah, so we have a couple that are raised some, but what we're going to do for right now is we're going to go ahead and let this soak in before we try to do anything with the frets, because once you put conditioner on there and that wood starts to soften up and everything, some of these may come up even more, some of them may not move at all, so it's better to always wait until after you get these conditioned real good and everything right on the fretboard before you start making adjustments. So we are going to go into coating this thing with Howard's Feed and Wax, and once we get that done and that gets wiped in good and everything, we'll come back, rock the frets again, figure out which ones are raised, whether or not they have to be tapped in or not. I was expecting some fret issues from Glarry, which those are easily addressed. You can take care of those no problem. So as long as you have some good tools to do it with, most of the time you can get these tools from Amazon. They're completely user friendly and budget friendly, and you can take care of stuff like this without any problems whatsoever. So let's go ahead and coat this thing in Howard's Feed and Wax and let all of this soak in real good, and once we get all that done, we'll start working on the frets.
A few moments later.
Oh, good old Howard's Feed and Wax. Well, if I had a straw, I'd have put me a straw in there, you know, but don't do that. Might grease your innards. Don't need you to do that. I don't know what kind of fretboard material this is, but it is the same fretboard that I had on my Texan guitar. It's a little grainy. They have a new Howard's Feed and Wax out. I was talking to some folks about it back about a month ago. Thought about trying, not really sure on it yet. My thing is, I'm kind of stuck in my ways about products. If I use a product and it works really well, then I tend to stay with that product and don't try anything else. I've always been that way. A lot of people say, oh, you're just scared of change. What's wrong with you? Are you old or something? But that's not really it. I mean, if I like a product, I like a product. If it works for me, then it works for me. I'm just tallying up the reviews on the new Howard's Axe Wax. A lot of folks was talking about it doesn't have the orange oil in it, and or the distillants, whatever they call that it doesn't have that in it. And I'm like, well, that's kind of what I like about Howard's Feed and Wax, is the fact that you get that orange oil in it. So I'm kind of on the fence about it. I don't know. I may, like, if they offer it in a smaller bottle, I hate to buy a big old bottle and then just decide, yeah, it's not for me. I'd like to get a smaller bottle of it and try anyway, and then that way if I like it, then I can get more. If I don't like it, then I'm not wasting a bunch. So that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. But seen a few people talking about it and stuff. I've just not really made my mind up on it yet. Think that I may run into it sometime down the road. I don't know. I have learned to try out different products here and there. I mean, after all, this is a review channel. We review products. That's kind of what we do here at String Pickers. So I'm sure I'll wind up getting a hold of some of it, trying it out. As of right now, though, I'm kind of happy with my Howard's Feed and Wax. I've used this stuff a bunch, and I've not even really used that much of it. I mean, that's still quite a bit. A little dab of this stuff will do you. So I thought, well, you know, I'll just leave it be right now and keep using what I know. The other stuff may be the cat's meow for all I know. Maybe the cat's meow. Okay, so we got that on there. I'm gonna let that soak for just a little bit, and while that is soaking, I'm gonna go ahead and put some lizard spit in this nut up here because it's going to be a bit before I put any strings back on it, so it'll get time to dry. This is stuff that I've still used. I really like this stuff, but $20 for that little bottle, that's kind of expensive, but it goes a long ways too. You only use a dot or two here and there, and I've used it on just a little bit of everything when it comes to guitar, so we're going to use it on this nut. I'm going to put us a good sized dot right here. And this is a liquid graphite, so once you put that on there, you just give it time to dry. When it dries, it leaves all that graphite behind. So it's a really good product. I used that in some split top tuners that worked out really good for me. Took a few days for it to all dry out because you had to put it in that little hole on the back, you know. But other than that, I mean, it did really good. I was really surprised at how well it helped out those split top tuners. I had quite a bit of resistance going on in there and some popping noises where it was trying to adhere to itself. And so, yeah, it's turned out to be a really good product. All right. We're going to let this set for just a few minutes, probably 15 or 20 or so. I may even go further than that because this neck is dry as a bone. So we're going to let that set on there. And then once we get that done, then all we got to really do is just string it up and intonate, see if, you know, everything is right for the picking, if you get what I mean, picking. Or in this case, thumping. So I'll cut right here and we'll be back in just like 20, 30 minutes, something like that, maybe even longer. And for you, it'll be 0.749 thousandths of a second, and we'll string this thing up.
3 hours later.
Okay, guys, we are back. You've seen in the little speed up part that we have went ahead and put the strings on and everything. I have give them some time to stretch. So I'm going to check the tuning if I can find my tuner that's covered up with this. Also, I took care of the Howard Speed and Wax, went ahead and done that. And I did tap a couple of the frets down and I've checked them with a fret rocker. Everything seems to be fine, and continually I'm just blown away by how easy this Glarry bass guitar has been to restring, set up, and everything. I did lower the action some because I think these strings are just maybe a size bigger, but I noticed when I put these strings on that the neck itself, I had a little bit more height on these strings, and it did have just a little bit more relief. So I took that out. Right now, our relief is perfect. By the way, if you do not have a notch level for a bass, which I don't, the best way to do is capo here or down here and run a feeler gauge in under it, or you can hold down the first fret here, put your thumb down here, move up and tap. It should make a sound. If it makes no sound at all, it's too close. You should barely tap it to tell if the relief is just right on it. So we got the relief right on here. That's of course it will take some practice if you've never done that before to decide whether or not, you know, because if you're tapping it and it's not hitting that fret, then it's your relief is too much. What I have discovered in the past is that bass guitars usually set up to about 2 3/4 millimeter or 2.75 millimeter on the low string and around 2 millimeter on the high string. This is the kick. This is what blew me away. On the low string, I am setting at 225 with no buzz. And then on the high G string, I'm setting at 175 with no buzz. This thing has continually impressed me. It's unbelievable how I've gotten to the point where I try not to talk trash about a certain instrument until I realize that it is trash. When I picked this bass up, I thought, man, this is never going to play out. It's a Glarry. I've never had a good luck with Glarry guitars. Bass guitars I've never dealt with Glarry, but I just did not think that this thing was going to be a walk in the park, and it has been a walk in the park on a sunny day, mind you, with a comfortable low humidity. So let's see, and it looks like the strings have stretched none. They are exactly where we left them. So I guess what we need to do now is a little bit of intonation, because I'm sure that this thing is probably going to need that. So let's go ahead and look and see what kind, and those are number 2 Phillips bits. So I have a number 2 bit on a screwdriver. Never adjust your intonation with any kind of electric screwdriver or anything like that. Has to be done with a hand screwdriver. And she's intonated. Yeah, I can't believe it. You know, everything about this guitar has turned out really great. So yeah, that's got that. I think that we'll call this one done, and we'll wipe it off just a little bit and put it up. Normally I would do a sound sample, but you know, not a lot has changed other than just the strings and the action on this guitar from the demo that I played in the intro of this video. It sounds great, you know, plays great. I think that this would make even your more intermediate and experienced players, that this would make a really good bass. Yeah, man. That's a good bass right there. But yeah, I think that we're going to call this done, and we're going to go on to another project, ladies and gentlemen. And there you have it, string pickers. One of the most surprising setups and restrings and overall reviews that I've done in quite some time. You know, I mean, this when this guitar was brought in, and the telly that I did in the last video by the same customer, Matt, if you're watching, I appreciate you, brother. I thank you for your business. I knew what to expect with the telly. I knew that it was a no-name brand, that some things had to be done to that telly. I knew that it was going to be a problem, which is not a big deal. My main focus in these videos is to get these instruments that I work on as comfortable and reliable to play to the customer as possible, especially in Matt's situation. On his guitars, I wanted them to be perfect for him because he's just starting out a little bit on stringed instruments. He's been a drummer most of his life. And on this one, I think that we are going to write down, let's see, we done the nut, and then the last thing that we done was intonation, and we done minor fretwork. So altogether on this one, all we really had to do was conditioning the fretboard and the neck, because the neck is untreated. It's it's just bare wood. I did have to sand just a little bit, and also had fretboard conditioner, Howard's with Howard's Feed and Wax, of course. And then we've got the liquid graphite that we put in the nut, which seems to be doing rather well. I've tuned the strings. There's no binding or anything happening up there. And then see, we had liquid graphite on the nut. And then there was just the intonation and some minor fretwork. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a walk in the park. When I say, if I work on an instrument and I say it's a walk in the park, that's it. That's just minor setup things that you have to do on a guitar that you buy new. If you can get by with just doing that much, then you're in good shape. You got a good quality instrument, and especially one that plays and sounds as good as this one does. I was very, very, very pleased with this bass. It was just amazing to me that I'm thinking I may even be able to lower his action even more. It's actually under what the industry standard setup action is for a bass, but I think that I could probably lower the action even further and get this thing just playing amazing. And it didn't have to shim the neck. It only bumps up just like probably 0.2 millimeter from the 12th to the last fret here. And so I mean, you really can't go wrong with a bass like that you buy, especially from Temu. So or even a bass that's a Glarry. I mean, come on, man. These things are, I don't know. I would pay for this all day long. I would. This, in my opinion, you could buy this bass for $250 and not be disappointed in your purchase because of just how well this plays and how well it's set up. 6 months down the road might be a different story, but hopefully the work that I've done to this will cause Matt to bring his instruments back to me if he ever needs anything else done to him. This is a win, ladies and gentlemen. A very, very nice win. So guys, I really appreciate you joining me today. I appreciate each and every one of you that comment, like, subscribe, and for those that just come in to view my videos, thank you so much. I think that the budget guitar industry may be stepping up in some areas, may be flunking in others. It seems like no matter how good budget guitars gets, there's always a few out there that are just humdingers that you have to really work on.
And he works on a lot of them around here.
I was joking after the Telecaster that, I'm fixing to start charging extra for Temu guitars and everything. But, I joke because, I do enjoy tinkering with guitars and making them right. If I can make them right in any way, it challenges me and it helps the customer. So that's all I got for you today, guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Like I just said, thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming in and viewing this video. Tell me what you think about Glarry as a brand. Leave it in the comment section below. If you've owned a Glarry, or if you like to play Glarrys, or if you just absolutely can't stand them, just leave me a comment down below on that. And with that being said, I would just say to you now that I hope and pray you're having the best day ever, and I pray that God is with you all. Until next time, later.
Let's go!